So I've decided to change up the way that I'm formatting the videos probably from now on, but just as a test for this video, showing the art first and then getting into the video just so you know what the end product is going to look like and you can look forward to that while I'm working. Hey guys, it's Frank with Redphone Studios. Today we're going to be doing the Graff Mountain, which is part of the Grafflin Mountain line. Grafflin? No, I can't remember. In the Saphira world that runs from Carthen up through a majority of Bris. It sits on the main area of the country rather than being on the isle and really anywhere else. So the first thing I start off doing is picking the right mountain color, because this is a forested mountain, and of course start off making a couple mistakes, which is fine, you know, we just go along with it. If this episode had a subtitle, it would definitely be Lost Footage, because the amount of times that I would work on it and forget to hit record. You can probably see it right now. I'm not looking at it. I don't think I was doing something else, talking to someone. But the amount of times I just wasn't looking at it and just stopped recording, absolutely unforgivable. I hate myself for that mistake. But we make mistakes and we go along and we continue to work. Once I'd gotten the general color of the mountain sorted out, I wanted to figure out sort of what I wanted the outline of the mountain to look like, and so I started off with this layer of trees that I thought would give it this really neat dirty edge effect, and I went on with it for a long time. Like, the amount of work that I did getting these trees in, it wasn't worth it for a single second, especially after I started filling in the rest of the mountain with trees. It just proved to be way more hassle than it was worth. Oh, I wish there was a way that I could fast forward specific sections. I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, the Graff Mountain is the most beautiful, picturesque mountain in all of Bris, and it is known most commonly for how large it is and the fact that it is a glacial mountain. I think it can be a little bit hard to tell from the perspective, not 100% sure, but it is a very large mountain. This thing would be at least a day or two's hike from the bottom. I had a little bit more fun with this one and the next one that I did in laying in different texture. I think I'm using a charcoal brush for the snow on the mountain, and it actually comes out surprisingly well. I was definitely surprisingly happy with how the entire thing came out, despite how much fiddling I do on it. Yeah, just continuing to work on the exact values of everything. One of the things that I fiddled with for a long time with this one was getting the snow to be not perfectly white, because I don't think anything in real life is perfectly white. But oh hey, look at that, you just got a perfect example of the lost footage. Yes, I was probably drawing for a good 20 minutes getting all of this detail in before I realized, hey, I'm not recording. So I'm gonna get better at that. 100% promise, guaranteed. Because it infuriates me to not be able to show my entire process. But it's fine, we go along with it, we make mistakes, we just work off of them. I spent a long time doing the little details on this mountain because I really wanted it to look right. I really wanted to feel like it had a good amount of detail, which I definitely think it has the right amount of detail for what I was going for, especially once we get into the more finished and towards the finished project. Getting all of the highlights and shadows in and making them relatively sharp and clean was definitely a focus during this piece, and making sure that everything felt organic and real rather than like it was drawn, which you can tell, but I think you can tell it. If I had done this a year ago, there would definitely be a lot more, it would be a lot more clear that I was just drawing rather than, I don't know what the alternative would be, but it would look a lot worse, to say the least. And in comes the fun part where I start making in the layers of trees. I probably sounded a little bit sarcastic, but this part actually was kind of fun because I got to create a really neat effect of distance and depth, which I usually go for, but I don't always put so much time into, so it doesn't always look proper, I guess. And I definitely think that this came out much better than some of my other attempts that I've done in the past. These trees were a brush that I created myself. I think I actually did that in another video. But one thing that I found out as I was doing a piece today is that I've lost a good number of my brushes. I don't know where they went or what happened to them, so I'm gonna have to recreate a couple of them. Not to say that that's an issue with the program. I'm sure that I did something that screwed it up. I think what it might have been was I went into the settings and reset the overall settings for the brush palette, and that's what got rid of them. But I don't know, again, I'll fix it and figure out what I need to do. While I do really enjoy this piece, and I did end up actually using it on the website, which will be 100% done really soon, which I'm super excited about. But despite the fact that I really like this piece, I think that the next one I did is a good amount better. Primarily just in the sense of depth, because I definitely, if you asked me, I would say that I definitely cheated on this one. I used a lot of different effects to induce the sense of depth that a viewer would get from looking at it, whereas in the second one, it took longer, but I think it looked better to hand draw all of the buildings. I'm really spoiling the next one for you guys because I'm really excited for anyone who sees it to see it, because I really like it and I like how it came out. And I showed it to my friend and she said it was cool, so I'm like, yeah. If you say it's cool, then it's definitely cool. I put a lot of stock in what other people think about me and my work. So, yeah, that's going to be a consistent theme. I don't know why I sat here for so long just looking at it. I think I was trying to figure out what my next step was. And I think after I add these trees, and my next step is figuring out the gradient for the sky. And that was another part that looked fairly good. If I get to it. What am I up to? I've lost the thread. Oh, okay, so I'm going back in and edging in some more detail. God, I need to stop using that brush because it is a nightmare to use. I absolutely love it, but God, is it painful. This brush is much better. I need to remember which one this is. But I wanted this to feel like it had ravines and peaks and cliffs and edges, and I didn't base it off of any mountains that I was actually looking at, although I really should have. That probably would have made it look a million times better. But I was just sort of going along what I thought mountains generally look like, or what they could look like, and creating detail in my mind and then somehow translating that. Really, you figure it out as you go. There's no magic trick to, or at least not that I've found, to be like, ooh, the texture should look like this, so it'll look like this, and I need to use this brush. And for the most part, I really just experimented and saw what worked, saw what didn't, and just made it work from there. Yeah, I tend to use the gradient tool a lot. I don't always use it to get the same effect, but I do use it probably more than I should. Oh yeah, this was frustrating. So as I was working, for one reason or another, it stopped erasing, and I've actually been having this problem a good amount lately, where one or two layers will just stop erasing regardless of what I do, and I'll need to actually restart the program. Restarting the program won't actually change anything about like the layers settings or anything, but for some reason resetting the program just makes it work. So yeah, that's a little bit frustrating. Coming up here, one thing that I did lose, and I really hate the fact that I lost, was in the final piece, in the final product, what you'll see is there are these hints of brown in the mountains. I lost every second of that. And unfortunately, it wasn't this time. It wasn't just lost in the, oh, I stopped recording and it was just gone. I'd never recorded it. I was recording when I was doing it, but I found out earlier today when I went to look at the footage that it was just gone. The actual file was there, but my brush was moving, but nothing on the screen was actually changing. So you would get kind of the sense of what I'm doing, but there wouldn't actually be any visual changes. So I've decided to just cut that portion, since I figured it'd be really confusing and boring to narrate just watching my failure, or the failure of my computer or the program or whatever conspired to happen to make it so the footage would disappear. I'm surprised that I ended up being happy with this mountain, because I really kind of just hacked it together. It did end up coming out in a way that I was pleased with, but yeah, this one was very slapdash, which is fine. Sometimes your work can be slapdash. I think that's bringing us to a draw on this particular piece, and we'll get to see the final piece once again of I don't know why I did that. But yeah, this piece took me 2 hours in total, and I'm surprisingly happy with how it came out. You missed the detail of the browning and the detail of the clouds, but overall you can see it, and I think it looks nice. So if you enjoyed this video, thanks very much for watching. If you would like to see more from me, you can hit the subscribe button. I know that you probably hear that a lot from other YouTubers, but I am not very consistent in sharing these videos, so yeah. I'm probably gonna have to find a way to cut this audio down, because I am hitting the 15-minute mark, which I cannot do. Anyways, this has been Frank with Hitfilm Studios, so I'll be signing out. Thanks for watching. Bye. I